Hello, my name is Nicole Heinen. I am 24 years old and I am from Chaska, Minnesota, where I have been raised my whole childhood. In 2016, I graduated from Chaska High School. After high school, I decided to follow my passion, and that is how I ended up enrolled in college today. I could sit here and give you a basic overview of my life and who I am as a person, but I want to go more in depth than that. I want you to meet the real me, find out the deep workings of my mind. I want to tell you about my passion in life, which is helping people, and how I came to find that passion, because it is a bit more of an unconventional route than one might take. Let me give you a brief background. When I was 15, on a snowy Minnesota night, I rolled over a car in an accident with my friends, and from there I started to have back pains, which I later associated to being in that accident. Like any normal person who was in pain, I went to my doctors with my parents to maybe get a strong Tylenol or Advil prescription. That wasn't what my doctor had in mind, though. He wrote me a prescription with refills for Oxycontin, which is a very strong opiate to be prescribing to a minor. From there, it was a classic story on how I spiraled into addiction and started to abuse my prescription. When my prescription eventually ran out, I turned to the streets to get the pills. But eventually, when that got too expensive, I was introduced to heroin as a cheaper solution, and it was all down the hill from there. I dealt with being in active addiction for the next year and a half when I was pulled over with a few people and was caught with drugs by the police. Since I was under the age of 18 when I was caught, I didn't get a typical punishment of having to go to jail or something you would see in the movies. You don't really even get a trial when you're underage. You have a meeting with a judge and a social worker to help figure out the appropriate punishment for your crimes. Juvie focuses much more on rehabilitating minors so they can learn from their actions and hopefully go on to adulthood and don't commit these same crimes. So I got sent to Juvie, which was used as a treatment center. From there, I spent the next month and a half getting better and healing from my addiction. I was a rough-headed kid when I first got there, and I didn't really have plans to stay sober. I had always heard from other people that getting sober and staying sober has to be your choice. Nobody can force you to get sober. You have to really want it, and obviously being there wasn't my choice. I felt like I wasn't strong enough to get sober and stay sober when I left because I had tried a few times in the past but was never able to successfully stay sober more than a few days. When I arrived, I was assigned a case manager/counselor whose name was Miss Amber. They all went by first names in the facility. Have you ever had a counselor you just completely click with? That was Miss Amber for me. She was a huge inspiration for me, and she saw through my tough outer shell that I had put up during my active addiction. She helped me realize my own potential. She helped me realize that I did have the capability to stay sober and be sober when I left there. When I first came to Juvie, I felt like I was forced to be sober, but when I left, I wanted to be sober. I had made that choice for myself. In all honesty, if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I could probably say today that I'm 6.5 years sober from all drugs and alcohol. I'm at the point where I was so helpless and beyond help when I got to Juvie that I felt like there was no hope for me. When Miss Amber helped me realize that I wasn't beyond help, that there was hope, I became inspired to do the same for people who were just like me when I first came there. I've never really resonated with a traditional 12-step program because it is so intertwined with religion, and I'm not religious at all. But I kind of rewrote my own version of the 12-step and took the core of each step and took the religion out of it. The 12th step is basically once you've healed yourself, you should try to help others out of the similar situations. I've always been a caring person, but it was when I first got sober I realized I had a real passion for helping people. I originally wanted to be a drug and alcohol counselor, but I felt very uneasy with the idea of being around situations that could be triggering to me in early sobriety. I enrolled in a nursing assistant class offered through the Red Cross. I completed the courses and passed the tests that I needed to get my certification. I started working in various nursing homes over the years caring for elderly. I connected with so many different people and felt like I had found a career that also involved my passion. While working in nursing homes, you do more than just take care of their physical needs. You also take care of their emotional needs, and that has a huge impact on your life. I loved being a nursing assistant, but I found it very hard for me to deal with death and aftercare of bodies. Even though a lot of my residents, their death wasn't a surprise because they were either elderly or sick, it was still hard when they finally passed on because I had formed such close relationships with them. Now that I am almost 7 years sober, I have started to think about how I would like to help people who suffer from addiction like I once did. When I came to the conclusion that I am in a stable point in my life where I feel comfortable in my sobriety, I want to go back to school today. I want to go back to school so I can obtain a degree in psychology and work my way up to working in a treatment center as a counselor. I just started the process to achieving that dream by enrolling in school. So that is my story and some of the passions in my life. I hope I've been able to give you a little bit more of an insight in my mind. When I recovered from my addictions and healed myself, I found that I have a great passion for helping other people, and that has inspired my current dream that I am attaining my bachelor's degree in psychology, so I can hopefully help others out of the same addiction.